So your digestion impacts your mood and it impacts your emotional eating. So let's dive in. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Michelle. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist specializing in emotional eating. And today I wanted to dive into how your digestion is impacting your mood and your emotional eating pattern. So often this is overlooked when you are an emotional eater. I know when I was on this journey, I was trying to plug all of these different holes, these different symptoms I was having. So my digestive issues seemed disconnected from my emotional eating, disconnected from, what was going on in my life. So I was going to therapy. I had a holistic nutritionist. I was going to a chiropractor. I was trying all of these different things to help me. But all of this is interconnected. And I know if you are, for instance, going to therapy, you're not going to be looking at how food impacts your physical body, your digestion, and how that plays into your mood and triggers into your emotional eating. And so at best, we're getting this really disjointed way of looking at your emotional eating pattern. I know I was really frustrated. I was going to all of these different practitioners and no one seemed to connect the dots. They didn't even know I was an emotional eater. And so I'm going to share with you how digestion is so impactful on this pattern. It's a piece of the puzzle to resolving your emotional eating. So what is digestion? So digestion really means that we are breaking down food into the smallest parts possible mechanically and chemically so that our body can absorb it and assimilate the nutrients. So digestion is part of the process of us actually getting nutrients into our body, and then our body eliminates what it doesn't need. So when digestion is running really optimally, it's super helpful. We're absorbing nutrients, we are assimilating them, and a lot of the digestive process is happening in our small intestine. And so there is the microbiome there, which is lots of bacteria and yeast, and they are there to help break down and digest food and create compounds that are helpful to us. So for instance, a lot of our neurotransmitters are created in the gut and other helpful compounds. We absorb nutrients here. There's a lot going on and it's beneficial to us. So if our digestion is going well, we're going to produce more neurotransmitters. For instance, serotonin, about 90% is produced in the gut. This is going to impact our mood because there is literally a nerve, the vagus nerve, connecting our brain to our gut, and they're in constant communication. So however we're digesting, that's impacting our mood and we're sending those chemicals there. If our digestion is poor, so we're not digesting well, that means there's large food chunks, we're in a stressful state, this actually creates an environment where these large pieces of food are going to be consumed and bacteria are going to produce compounds, and the microbiome and the flora there are going to produce compounds that are not helpful to us. And these are called neurotoxins, and this impacts our mood. This also creates gas and bloating and putrefaction in our small intestine. And so these chemicals, these biochemicals are then communicated to the brain, impacting our mood. And as emotional eaters, when our mood is impacted, we go towards food to soothe ourselves, to numb out, to cope. And so then we'll be triggered into emotional eating, choosing foods that don't support our digestion. And here we're in this vicious cycle. So it's not to say that we just need to eat the right foods. Digestion is impacting us on multiple levels. We need to look at digestion on multiple levels in order to shift it. So when we're in a stressful state, that is going to automatically put our nervous system into fight or flight mode, which means our digestion is turned off. And we want to shift it into rest and digest, where we have better digestion, better mood. And this is really key for our emotional eating pattern because we are in stress in certain states, and we need to look at how are we digesting food, not only physically, but we have to look at what are the mental and emotional factors creating stress to impact our digestion. And so that looks like us looking at the connection we have to food, to digestion, and to our emotional eating pattern. And so when I'm working with clients, we're doing this in a really multi-layered way. So a lot of the times when, let's say you're in talk therapy and you're moving through your relationship with food and you have a dietitian, they're not really looking at your patterns around digestion, your bowel movements. How are you actually feeling with the food? They're sort of saying, you eat this food, it goes in and you're fine. But we really have to look at how you're digesting so that we can look at the other factors impacting this digestive process, not just, you mentally or the physical foods, but other underlying factors. So what this really looks like is you are nourishing yourself. So when I'm walking clients through this, there's a framework inside of the Emotional Eating Evolution program, and we're looking at food, your body, and your emotions in the physical, mental, emotional sort of realms. So with food, we're looking tangibly, physically. What types of foods are you consuming? How do they digest in your body? We're also supporting your physical digestion with helpful supplements, with certain strategies so that you're optimizing your digestion, but also then noticing when you're truly hungry. Because if you're eating when you're emotionally triggered, your body is not actually truly hungry, and it's not going to be supportive to digest those foods, and it's going to further impact your digestion and mood. And so here we have to look at, what are your bowel movements like? How satisfied are you with meals in order to create physically with food the best scenario to support those digestive symptoms? This is not going to heal your digestive issues. It's going to be a big factor in helping it, because we have to look at the deeper pattern with your emotional eating. In the second area with your body, we're looking at, where are you sort of shaming your body? Where are you mentally sort of triggered or emotionally, or you have trauma around your body so that you are pushing your body into more of a stress state? Are you sleeping enough? Or do you have the right routines for yourself? Are you constantly in a spiral thinking negatively about your body? Here we have to come back to body acceptance to shift out of this stressful state around our body, this obsessive state. Much like with food, those obsessive states with dieting and restriction, we want to shift out of that around our body so that we're now in a more calmer state, mitigating some of those triggers, and that's going to help our digestion. We're going to see results with our digestion. And finally, around our emotions. So here's where we dive deeper into the actual emotional eating pattern, the triggers that are coming up, because those unresolved emotions, when they're triggered, create stress in the body, and there's sort of this low-lying chronic stress. So for example, I had a client who had IBS, and when we worked on this deeper level, her IBS shifted and her bowel movements shifted, which meant her digestion and her whole nervous system had shifted to be more calm. She was digesting better. She had better bowel movements. We could see a shift in her body. And so this is what happens when we're working at what is being triggered with your emotional eating pattern. We're getting into the body and resolving it there so that we're resolving this emotional stress that's contributing to your digestive issues that then contribute to your mood, to your emotional eating. And here we go. These are factors. This is the cycle we're going into. So when we resolve that, we're integrating processing on a body somatic level to resolve this pattern, resolve those emotions so that you can meet your true needs. And when we combine all of this, we're looking at all of the different layers and looking at how are you actually digesting, what is shifting in your body so that we know we're moving forward. It's not just mentally or eating the right foods. We have to look at digestion to make sure your body's absorbing those nutrients and that you're able to really resolve that emotional eating pattern that puts you into this digestive distress as well, that compounds this pattern. So when you do this, what happens with your nervous system is that we're shifting from a stress state in fight or flight to a rest and digest state, a calmer, peaceful state. And tangibly, you physically feel this in your body from being stressed out, from having digestive issues, mood imbalance, holding on to weight, all these symptoms, not feeling good, low self-esteem, low self-worth, to shifting to rest and digest where you're calmer, you feel more peace, ease, confidence around food in your body, better digestion, you're releasing weight you no longer need, and overall, this is a tangible shift in your body. And this is where we want to get to. As you're resolving your pattern, you're going to notice this shift in your body. And this is how digestion is key. It's going to be a key factor, noticing your digestion, how it's impacting and playing into this pattern. You can see it shift. And as it's shifting, that means you're resolving more and more of your pattern. And so when I'm working with clients, one of the first ways we start having this shift is to start learning to discern true from emotional hunger and catching triggers. This is the doorway, the gateway to getting into this pattern to start resolving it. And if you'd like to get started on that, I have a free guide called What Are You Truly Hungry For? You can find the link below to get started on that. But if you are ready to resolve your emotional eating from the root and actually move through the tangible step-by-step process so you can start feeling ease and confidence around food and in your body in a sustainable way, then I'd love for you to check out my 12-week program, the Emotional Eating Evolution Program. This is a 12-week process, a step-by-step process full of support, guidance, coaching, in-depth somatic meditations, in-depth tools to get to the root of this issue and resolve it sustainably so that you feel that shift in your nervous system from feeling, stress to calm, ease, and peace. So if you have any questions about what I've shared today, please let me know. Please be sure to like and subscribe. I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope you have a great day.